The Finance Committee will come to order. This morning, the Finance Committee is joined by IRS Commissioner Wyden for our annual hearing that typically marks the end of tax filing season. However, 2021 is no typical year. There's lots to talk about, and I'm going to start with the tax gap, the difference between taxes owed and what's collected. Even the most conservative estimates of the annual tax gap put it in the hundreds of billions of dollars a year. My own view is the annual tax gap is at least double the official estimate and growing. The most recent official estimate pegs the tax gap at $381 billion a year, but it looks all the way back to data from 2011 through 2013. That means these estimates are out of date as soon as released. The fact is our economy has changed and expanded. In 2011, one Bitcoin didn't buy you a ham sandwich. Today's cryptocurrencies and other technologies create huge new opportunities for the tax cheats to rip off the American people. More and more wealth is building up in the hands of the fortunate few and big corporations. They're the ones with the high-priced lawyers and accountants who specialize in concealing income with sketchy bookkeeping, money laundering, and shell companies. I'm coming off 10 town hall meetings in Oregon. When I hold those meetings, especially during tax season, lots of Oregon taxpayers tell me they have a gut feeling they're being cheated. They hear about the massive tax gap and they're rightfully ticked off. Close even a portion of the tax gap and you're better able to fund care for the elderly at home, assistance to needy kids, and affordable housing. The IRS needs more resources to tackle the challenge, but it is only just beginning to recover from a decade of Republican budget cuts. Those cuts hobbled our ability to root out cheating by high flyers and their high-priced accountants. Criminal tax evasion cases have fallen nearly by half. The number of IRS tax enforcement, the experts who know how to break down the tax evasion cases, has now fallen by nearly a third. Wealthy tax cheats have proven that with enough attack dog lawyering, they can litigate the IRS into submission and rip off working taxpayers for big money. Meanwhile, the burden of tax audits was shifted unfairly to working people. That's because it's a lot cheaper and easier to hassle a working mom over a tax credit overpayment than it is to decipher the latest money laundering schemes. My bottom line, it's time to throw out business as usual on this. Business as usual has proven to be a rainmaker for cheaters and criminals and unfair to everybody else. The IRS needs more highly skilled investigators and better technology to keep up with the modern crooks. The Biden administration's new budget proposal calls for a 10% increase in IRS funding. That's a good start. I believe there's room for a more comprehensive strategy that'll lower the tax gap. The committee is going to kick off a new policy this morning. On my watch, the annual filing session from this point on will put a special focus on what the IRS has done over the previous year to catch the cheats and close the gap. There's a lot of catching up to do. Let me wrap up with just a couple of other comments. First, Commissioner, I'm going to give you a formal introduction, but we want to thank you and the staff for working many, many long hours during the pandemic to get 3 rounds of relief payments to the public. Millions of hurting families got desperately needed relief payments, and our country got an economic boost. The committee, the Finance Committee, also led an important effort to make sure that Americans who got unemployment benefits did not get a painful tax surprise this year. Finally, Commissioner, we're going to want to hear about getting the new child tax credit payments up and running. It's a big job, and millions of Americans are counting on the IRS to get it done. Commissioner will give you a formal introduction after we hear from Senator Crapo. Thank you for joining us, Senator Crapo.